Hi everybody, welcome. We're in the process of a really magical yoga teacher training, an upper level training, and the lesson that we learned, including myself, last week was when we slow down, we can feel so much more. Sometimes we think slow might be, like boring or dull. But with the inner focus that we bring as yogis, the slowing down actually has been giving us more sensation, more to feel and explore. And so today's class, we will take a little slower than usual with the hopes that we can integrate our musculature more holistically as we pay attention. And I think it will be really fun. Dana, you made it. I was worried. I was like, oh, she's going to miss her streak, but you got in just in the nick of time. So we'll start with a little bit of breathing. I find that the more I can observe my breath, the more I can start to get into that mindset of slowing down. And so if you're not already sitting comfortably, take a moment to adjust the seat. Close the eyes. Try to allow the neck and shoulders and chest to relax. This will actually help us breathe more naturally. And if it's available to you, breathe in and out of the nose. And sometimes we want to change the breath and control it and force it and make it deeper or longer or whatever. Today, let's just play with observing the breath exactly as it is. Our bodies are so magical and intelligent. We know how much oxygen we need to take in and how much carbon dioxide we need to let out. So if we can let our body just self-regulate, we'll actually receive more optimal respiration than if we control it. And just notice how it feels to observe the breath without trying to change it. As you release a sense of control or doership, see if the physical body can soften slightly. And then see if the mind can soften slightly. The forehead, the space between the eyebrows. Continue to observe the breath. As you continue to observe, and the body softens, the mind softens, see if the heart can soften. Letting the chest relax physically, but also in the subtler way. As if you're sinking a little deeper inside. As we go through our class today, the breath will change depending on how much effort you exert and the body needs more oxygen. And see if you can observe the change without forcing it or controlling it. Just noticing your breathing patterns throughout class from this observer state. And if you are enjoying music today, you're welcome to hit play on the first track. Should be called Breath of Life. And if you're facing me, turn to your left so your right shoulder is pointed towards me and you're pointed towards the short edge of your mat. And continue to observe the breath, but we'll invite some movement into the body. So allow the chin to gently melt towards the chest, not forcing any stretch, just letting the body soften. And then gently allow the chin to roll towards the left. Notice the sensations in the right side of neck. And then roll the neck to the right and notice the sensations on the left side of the neck. And try to move just a little extra slow so you can really feel how your movement is affecting the sensation in the body. The movement is giving you something to feel. It's giving you something to explore. Maybe you start to feel beyond the side of the neck into the top of the shoulder. You can always add on if you're feeling anything that you want to explore. Perhaps as the head rolls one way, the fingertips reach away from the head to increase that sensation. Just allowing this time to bring you into sensation in the body. As the head continues to roll, allow the spine to participate a little bit more, noticing how, as the head rocks to the left, the whole spine can gently soften and curve to the left. Again, not forcing anything, just starting to feel. And the head moves, the spine follows. Maybe the pelvis also follows. So as the head goes to the right, maybe the left hip starts to lift a little bit. Just allow the body to work as a single fluid unit. You don't have to resist. Just let everything gently pull and watch the chain reaction. As you move and feel, can you also observe the pattern of your breath? At any time in this exploration, add in one or both arms, giving you more to feel. And try to move a little slower, Liz. I think it'll help you feel more. Nice. And we'll take another moment here if you need to play with the other arm, whatever you need, and we'll meet at center, just observing the breath for a moment. Allow the hands to rest in the thighs. And then slowly start to circle the spine to the right, allowing the pelvis to be like the bottom of a tornado and the head being the top. So this cone shape gets bigger as you go up the spine and go the opposite direction. Take one more circle to the left, and then reach the arms up. Start to stretch the legs forward and allow the body to recline with arms stretching overhead. And again, just observe the breath for a moment before we move. Drag the heels back towards a bridge pose. Reach hands towards heels and gently press down into soles of feet, shoulder blades, and palms to guide the hips up. And then release one vertebra down at a time, really trying to feel each moment as the spine makes contact the mat, slower than you're used to moving. And then hover the knees towards the chest without touching the legs. Give yourself an invisible hug, reaching arms around the legs, lifting up for a modified Apanasana. And then stretch the arms overhead and stretch one leg out at a time, controlling its descent towards the mat. And then we'll repeat that mini flow again. So heels drag back, hands reach towards heels, lift the hips very, very slowly, feeling how pushing down allows you to lift with support. And then release one vertebra at a time. Knees in, invisible hug, not touching anything. I know that name doesn't make sense, but we'll just call it that anyway. And then arms stretch out, and then one leg at a time stretches out, controlling the weight of the leg as it slowly lowers. And then one last time, and we'll add on and try to move as slowly as you can. First, we have our bridge. And then slow lower into our invisible hug. And then reach arms overhead. Reach left leg out first. And then right leg. And notice this sense of the right leg rooting in towards the center of your body. Without releasing the leg completely, keep it hovering. Start to reach the right leg over the left leg, pointing towards the corner of your room. Keep reaching the leg off of the mat and let it start to pull you onto the belly, off to the other side of your mat. Great. Drag your hands back until they're underneath the shoulders. Pull the hands back, let the heart reach forward, and then release the body down. Take a few cobra pulses, allowing the movement to come from just underneath the shoulder blade. So as you draw the hands back, they activate the back, allowing you to lift. Try to keep the low back nice and soft, so there's no tension around the lumbar vertebra. Okay. The next time you lift, we have kind of a fun transition. Push into the hands so you have extra support. The right leg is going to go back the way it came. So it's going to reach over the left and towards the front right corner of your mat, and it's going to start to pull you up. Push into the hands. Let the right leg pull you into seated, the way you were originally facing, but with the legs extended. And in case that didn't totally make sense, you can glance over at me and I'll demo it. Don't worry, you'll have lots of times to try it again. So we have our cobra, and then the leg reaches, the hands push, and we're magically in Paschimottanasana. Bend the knees, allow the spine to release forward. For this first round, keep the hands on the floor, and then kick into the heels, allowing the legs to slowly extend. Allow the spine to naturally stack. Bend knees, let the spine melt, let everything soften, and then push into the heels. Feel what happens in the legs, and then allow that tension to stack the spine. Take one more on your own. And then we're back at the beginning, and we'll do that same thing on the second side. So allow the body to recline. Take one moment to observe the breath. And then drag heels back, press into hands, lifting into bridge, nice and slow. Release the spine down with control. Knees in, invisible hug. Reach arms overhead, extend one leg at a time. And this time we'll go right into rolling the other way. So the left leg is going to reach over the right. Let it reach and pull you, so slowly the pelvis follows, and then the spine, and then the shoulders. Really taking your time on that roll, eventually ending up on the belly closer to your computer. Drag the hands back until they reach the shoulders or a little bit closer to the hips, and pull on the hands, allowing the heart to peek forward and then melt back down. And take a few pulses here, just playing with using the hands to help you elongate the upper spine. Don't worry so much about the back bend. Just try to reach and lengthen the spine, letting the head follow. You'll probably still be gazing down. And then the next time you lift, press into the hands. Let the left leg reach towards the upper left corner of the mat. Push into the hands so you're back at Paschimottanasana, and we'll take 3 waves. So bend the knees, release forward, kick into the heels, slowly stacking. Bend and release. Kick and stack, trying to feel the quality of movement, and move as slow as you need to really be present with your body working as one whole unit. And then cross the legs, left leg in front. It's okay if you're not totally at the edge of the mat, that will work out just fine. And we'll go back to those circles. So just take a few of our cyclone circles where the head can really reach to the side and forward and other side. Have a sense of length in the spine without anything being rigid. And go the opposite direction. And so that was our first mini flow, and we'll add a transition and build on from there. And so the next time the head circles forward, reach the head up, reach the legs forward, and the arms overhead, reclining. Pause, observe the breath. Drag heels, reach hands towards heels, bridge pose, move with control. And then slowly release one vertebra at a time. Knees draw into chest, and lift the body, invisible hug. Reach arms overhead. Feel free to extend both legs at once if that's comfortable for the hip flexors. If it's not, then you can do one leg at a time like before. Right leg reaches over the left and reaches towards the corner of your room, slowly, slowly pulling you onto your belly. Drag the hands back, just one cobra, and then push into the hands. Let the right leg reach to the right corner of the mat, lifting all the way to Paschimottanasana. Nice. bend the knees. Jeanette, have the legs point a little further forward, yeah, and then as the hips open more, you can play with that. But just in the beginning, let's just focus on releasing the spine, letting the hips be nice and relaxed. And the next time the head rises up, lift the hands. Cross the left ankle over the right. Set the feet down, right hand behind you. Push down into feet and right hand to flip to tabletop. For this first round, we're going to play with just alternating arm and leg, and this will be working up to a more dynamic movement. But just notice this cross line of the body from alternate hand to foot. As you reach the hand and foot out, imagine you're like a half X, right? Imagine the hand and foot really lengthening away from one another. The next time the left foot and right hand and left foot, last one, I'm going to get it this time. Right foot and left hand reach apart, set the left hand down, tuck the left toes under, and slowly start to draw the knee into the chest, letting the spine round like cat pose. And then pull on the mat, reach the right foot up towards the sky, cow pose with like a little stinger leg, like a scorpion behind you. And then again, round into our cat crunch. And then lift the stinger leg. This time, instead of rounding into the cat crunch, point the right knee off to the side and slowly draw the knee forward, activating the outside of the right hip. And then just take 3 of those pulses. We'll be balancing later in class, and this really helps us stabilize as we balance. Extend the leg out. One last cat crunch, knee to chest. Pull on the mat, lengthen the heart forward, foot to sky for our stinger cow. And then slowly push into the hands, lift the left knee, and allow the spine and the leg to unfurl to a 3-legged dog. Take some circles with the right ankle. And then gently set the left knee down. Let the right leg swing to the outside of the hands and allow the hips to just soften for a moment. And then press into the feet. Notice how that allows the legs to engage. Slowly continue to push down, letting the pelvis and the spine stack. And then the hands will reach up last just to unfurl the spine. One icing on the cake moment. Slowly release the hands forward. Shift the weight lift the back knee, drop the front knee. Shift the weight into the right hip, and then just swing the left leg around. So you're in a seated position facing the other way. And just pause for a moment. So that was one cycle, and we'll repeat that on the second side. Start by slowly circling the spine. Notice as the spine circles how the weight shifts in the pelvis. Might feel a sense of massaging through the outer hips. Go the opposite direction. And move as slow as you need to be able to feel the connection between the legs and the core and the shoulders. And then reach the arms up, reach the legs forward, and recline with arms overhead. Pause to watch the breath. Drag heels back, hands reach, slow bridge. And then release the spine down, knees in, invisible hug, lifting up with the strength of the front of the body. Extend arms and legs, or one at a time, whatever is most comfortable. Left leg crosses over the right, dragging you slowly over the right side of the body, all the way to the belly. Drag the hands back, peek the heart forward, cobra pose, and then push into the hands. Reach the left leg over the right and let that pull you all the way up to Paschimottanasana with a little space between the feet. Bend the knees, take 3 waves forward, or take 1 really slow wave, or 2. Move at the pace you need to really feel a sense of control and fluidity. The next time you rise up, lift the hands, cross right ankle over left, left hand behind you. Set the feet down and push into the feet to lift the hips, untwisting into tabletop. Take a moment to reach the right hand and left foot apart, and then switch. And then see if you can find a sense of fluidity as we're going to call it your pause, lift, and release. Keep the joints really nice and supple. And then when the left foot lifts, set the right hand down and slowly start to draw the knee into the chest, rounding, cat crunch, and then pull on the mat, letting your stinger leg lift towards the sky, and repeat that. The next time you've got a stinger towards the sky, point the left knee off to the left and slowly start to drag the knee forward with control from the outside of the hip. It doesn't have to move very far. And then extend the leg straight back and repeat that a couple of times. And if it's too much, reduce the angle of the knee so it points down more than to the side. And just try to cultivate a sense of support from the outside of the hip. Extend the leg back. And now we'll just do one more cat crunch because that's actually quite intense and this can release a little tension. And then drag the hands back, lift the foot, stinger cow. Push into the hands, lift the back knee, and start to reach the hips up toward the sky, letting the left leg reach high, circle the left ankle. And then gently set the right knee down and let the left leg swing to the outside of the hands. Allow the hips to soften and melt towards the mat. And then push down into the legs, into the feet, slowly rising up, lifting the arms last so you can open the heart. And then release the hands down, lift the front foot, point the left knee towards the left wrist, left hip down, right leg slowly circles around, really feeling the control as the leg comes forward. We'll all meet seated, the right leg forward. Just pause, take a couple of deep breaths. So we've got a mini flow and a transition, and we'll add on another mini flow from our lunge. If you are using the playlist, you can go to the next track, which is titled Namaste, but class isn't over, so don't listen to that name. And just a reminder to make sure the song is on repeat because we want it to play for the whole vinyasa. So as we add on, you can always keep things the way we did them in the first round if the body was enjoying that. So with hands on the thighs, or lift hands overhead now. We'll start to circle. Allow the shoulders to be soft. Imagine the arms are being lifted from a lever at the center of the back. So the upper shoulders aren't doing any work here. Go the opposite direction. Remember to slow down. And then reach the arms up, reach the legs forward, incline, arms overhead, and just pause. Let everything soften. and observe your breath flow. Drag heels back, reach hands towards heels, slow bridge. And then release the spine down, knees in, invisible hug, slow motion. Reach arms overhead, extend the legs forward, every limb connecting to your core. Right leg over left, slowly roll over the left side of the body. Really use that right leg reaching to help pull you. Drag the hands back. Perhaps you have a little more support in the back and it feels good to lift higher. Maybe not. Let's release down. Do that one more time and then push into the hands. Reach the right leg wide, coming up to seated. Maybe your straddle or your Paschimottanasana starts to open into more of a straddle. Bend the knees, release forward. This time hands can lift up as you take your slow waves. Nice control, everybody. Next time you reach up, cross left ankle over right, right hand behind you, set the feet down, and pivot to table, but keep the knees hovering. Woohoo. Okay, so we're going to take some leopard walks by just lifting opposite hand and knee and hand and foot and setting it down. And so have this sense of the limbs connecting into the center, and you're just gently pawing the hand and foot away from the mat. It takes a lot of strength, but try to relax and smooth this motion out. Set the hand and the feet down. Walk the hands forward, one hand print, and then push into the hands to lift the hips high. Take a couple of breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knees really generously so the spine can easily lengthen. And then lift the right leg high, reach through the ball of the right foot, push into the hands a little bit more to lengthen the body. And then slowly start to roll forward and step the foot outside of the hands. Let the back knee drop, push down, slowly rising up, Anjaneyasana. The hands can press back gently if that feels good. And then release the hands back down. Lift the back knee, slide the back foot forward until you can push the whole foot down for our heel to heel stance. But we're going to make it nice and wide, like you're on railroad tracks. So look at the back toes, make sure they're mostly forward so the knee is nice and supported. And then push down into the feet just like we did in Anjaneyasana to slowly lift up, bend the front knee. Same action, but now we're in Virabhadrasana 1. And just take a breath here. Let the back heel lift. Push into the ball of the back foot. Feel that action happening in unison. And then soften both knees, soften both elbows to gently twist to the right. Have this sense of everything just like melting as you twist. So it's not intense at all. And then back heel starts to reach down to the ground, lift back up, extend the front leg. And then repeat that. So everything just softens to gently allow you to melt to the right. And then everything extends almost as if your whole body was filling with air so you could lengthen and reach evenly. Take one more twist. And then start to shift the weight into the front foot. Power into the right foot so the back leg hovers. And then slowly start to twist to the left as the left knee comes up. Twisted tree. Circle the left ankle, let the shoulders soften. And then using the strength outside of the left hip, see if you can open the left leg to like a floating tree. And then set the foot down to calf or inner thigh. Let the elbows sink down a little bit so the shoulders can ungrip. Take a breath in tree pose. And we'll repeat that whole sequence. So the left knee hovers. Step it back to your Virabhadrasana one stance, nice and wide. Reach the arms up, bend the knee. We're not going to repeat the whole thing, so follow along for this first round. Soften knees and elbows and twist. Shift the weight into the right foot. Slowly power into the right foot so you can untwist right into your twisted tree. And then hovering tree, so body squares forward, knee reaches off to the left, and then just gently set it down. Pause and breathe. We'll do that one more time. So hands reach forward, foot reaches back. Bend the front knee and allow the arms to reach up so the whole spine can lengthen and open. And then soften the knees and really bend the back knee. That will help here. Soften the elbows, gently twist to the right. Shift the weight and extend the right leg, untwisting and then retwisting all the way to the left. And then slowly transition to tree pose with the strength of the left hip. Now just pause. Gently press foot to thigh and thigh back to foot. See if that helps you lengthen up through the spine. And then hover the left knee. We'll transition right down to a low Anjaneyasana. So start to extend the left leg back as the front knee bends and the hands plant. That might take a few times, but be patient. Push into the hands. Hover the back knee, hover the front foot. Set the right knee behind the right wrist. Swivel the shin a lot less than you're used to for pigeon. So it's almost like you're balancing on a tightrope, and that shin is more underneath the thigh. Walk the hands in and traction the hands back to uproot the spine from the pelvis, letting the body lengthen. Check in with the low back. If it's too much, fold forward just a little bit. And then rock the weight into the right hip. Slowly circle the left leg around. And sit cross-legged, the left leg in front, and just pause. Notice any discrepancy between sides in the body. If you feel any opening or spaciousness, breathe into it evenly. And if you notice any tension, see if you can just soften and relax and find a little more compassion for yourself on the second side. And so now we'll do the second side. Lift the hands, slowly start to circle the body, and as the body gets warmer and warmer, feel free to allow these circles to get bigger. Just make sure you feel a sense of control and support and no strain. Go the opposite way. And then hands up, legs forward, reach limbs apart, forming a huge X on your mat, and just observe the breath. Heels drag, hands reach, slow motion bridge pose. And then slowly set one vertebra down at a time. Use the front of the body to draw the knees in, invisible hug. And then reach all the limbs apart, letting everything anchor to the center of the X. Left leg reaches up and over the right, and reach that left leg to slowly unroll onto the belly. Drag the hands back and play with dragging the hands a little further back if it feels appropriate to come up higher. Just make sure there's no work in the low back. You don't want the low back firing or tensing. Release back down. One more time, and then push into the hands, reach the left leg to come into a wide Paschimottanasana. Lift the hands, bend the knees, melt forward. 3 waves. And then reach the hands up, cross right ankle over left hand behind you, push down into the feet and the hand to untwist, keep the knees hovering, and then go right into those cheetahs, where opposite hand and foot lift, the pelvis is nice and buoyant, and there's a sense of everything anchoring up into the core. And so as the hips lift, it's easy to lift the hand and the foot. And then set hand and foot down, walk the hands forward and push into the hands, allowing the spine to lengthen, allowing the legs to breathe. Observe your breath, maybe noticing if it has deepened naturally, because you need to expel more carbon dioxide. The body just knows. You don't have to force anything. Just let it happen. Left leg lifts. And slowly start to roll forward, letting the left foot step outside of the hands. Drop the right knee, push down to slowly rise up with control, opening the front of the body. And then we'll mimic that again in Virabhadrasana 1. Release the hands down, lift back foot, slide it forward, pointing toes forward, letting the heel anchor. Push down into the feet to slowly rise up, bend the knee as the spine lengthens. And then push into the ball of the right foot, letting the heel lift. Bend both knees really generously, letting the hips bounce, start to melt towards the left. Then we'll repeat that a couple times just to get that motion down. So heel pins, hands reach up, leg extends. And then push into the ball of the foot, letting the heel lift. Bend knees and elbows just to soften to the left. You don't have to force it. And then just play between those two motions, moving really nice and slow. Notice how the bending of the limbs helps you soften into the twist. And the next time you twist, stay there. Shift the weight into the front foot. Power into the front leg to hover the back leg, and then slowly start to glide the right knee forward and up as you twist to the right. And then untwist facing forward, let the right knee open off to the side, hovering tree, and then set the foot to the leg. If the arms are getting tired, I should have offered this on the first side. Bring hands to heart center, find a drishti, and just observe your natural breath. You don't need to take anything. It's going to happen. And then we'll repeat a portion of that. So reach the arms forward, step the right foot back, bend the front knee. Virabhadrasana 1. Soften knees and elbows, gently twist to the left. Shift the weight, power into the left leg, twist to the right, and bring the knee with you. Nice. And then square everything to the short edge of the mat, hovering tree. Gently guide foot to leg, hands to heart. Squeeze the thigh into the foot so there's a sense of the left hip lifting. Last round, reach the arms forward, step the right foot back. Pause in Virabhadrasana 1 for as long as you need to stabilize. Then when you're ready, melt the limbs into your twist. Shift the weight and transfer twisted tree, hovering tree, and then just let the foot anchor in, hands to heart, pause. Okay, before we make this transition, visualize the right foot stepping back and the hands anchoring down inside the foot. Or actually, you don't have to visualize it. Watch me. You're going to do this. And then visualize yourself doing that. And when you're ready, trust that everything's going to land in the right place. Bend the left knee, step the right foot back, and plant the hands down. Nice. Great. Push into the hands. Hover the front knee. Place left knee behind left wrist, and then let the left toes point towards the right thigh. So it's not super intense here. Gently start to press the hips back. Let the back knee release and walk the hands in. Traction the fingertips back so you can lengthen the spine. Check in with the low back. You can wiggle your tail feathers a little bit here. If anything feels like it's locking up, slide the back knee towards the front foot a little so you're not so deep in this. And then slowly lower the left hip, circle the right leg forward, and pause. Back at the beginning, adjust your seat so you can sit comfortably. Take a couple of deep breaths. If you are following the music, you can go to the next track, which is Gold Flow. Fan favorite from last week reappears. Feel free to grab a sip of water. And so we're going to go through that sequence again. And we're not going to repeat stuff, so that you can really get this sense of things flowing. You know the sequence. Your body's smarter than you. So even if your mind can't remember it, that's okay. When you're ready, close the eyes, observe the breath. You thought I was going to say move. No, are you ready to observe your breath? Slowly sweep the arms up and take your slow circles. And go the other way. And then reach legs forward and arms back. Drag the heels, reach hands towards heels. Slow bridge. And then invisible hug. Stretch everything out. Right leg over left. Let that leg pull you onto your belly. Drag the hands back, high cobra. Push into the hands, reach through the right leg. Really push through the left hand. Wide Paschimottanasana, 3 waves, hands up or down. Nice slow motion, Jamie. Reach the hands up, left ankle over right, right hand plants behind, set the feet down to untwist into your cheetahs. Let the hips lift opposite hand and foot. Paw the hands forward, reach the hips up. Pause, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a couple of deep breaths. Right leg lifts. Slowly control the right foot. Step it to the outside of the hands. Back knee drops. Push down to rise, Anjane. Let the whole front of the body open. And then release the hands down. Slide the back foot forward. Push down into the feet. Let the front knee bend. Same thing happens with the spine. Virabhadrasana 1. Soften knees, soften elbows, twist to the right. Shift the weight into the right foot. Power into the right foot to slowly lift the knee, twisting to twisted tree. And then we have an option to add on here. So hovering tree can stay here, or play with grabbing your left big toe and start to kick the foot into the hand, letting the leg lengthen off to the side, not worrying about straightening the leg. Find your drishti. Asta Parangushtasana. Just feel the limbs opening. And then whenever you're ready, you'll transition to tree pose, hands at heart center. You don't need to rush if that was feeling good. Okay, and then hover the knee. Step foot back, hands down right into your low lunge. See it? Yes, nice, Amisha, you nailed it. Lift the front knee. Direct it towards the right wrist. Press the hips back. And then this time, let the right fingertips reach forward and then up and slightly back, but check in with the low back. We don't want a deep twist here, but just take a few circles with the arm. Remember that soft twist in our high lunge. Have that sense of the limbs just softening and melting as you twist to the right. And then plant the right hand at the front. Let the right hip sink off to the side. Circle the leg forward. And pause. Observe. Observe the breath. Observe sensation in the body. And let everything soften. And we'll do that on the second side. Reach arms up. Start with your circles. And sometimes less is more. Even though the body's warmer, don't feel like you ever have to go deeper. Just feel more. That is the going deeper. Change directions. Hands reach up, legs reach forward, recline, big X. Let the body stretch out, but have a sense of everything connecting into the center. Heels drag, fingertips reach, slowly lifting into bridge. And then set everything down, invisible hug. And then reach limbs apart, and that big X, left leg reaches over right. Really use the reaching of the leg to help you effortlessly roll over the right side of the body. Drag the hands back. Release the body now. And then drag the hands back. This time push into the hands, especially the right hand. Reach the left leg forward. Magic Paschimottanasana. Bend the knees. And move as slowly as you want, taking just a couple of waves. And the next time you reach up, cross right ankle over left, left hand behind you, untwist right into your cheetah. And try moving really slow here so you can feel all of the control that it takes to lift opposite hand and foot. And then step the hands forward. Let the body unfurl into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Little bend in the knees. We don't want too much tension in the posterior chain. You can wag your tail. And then left leg lifts high. Slowly step the foot to the outside of the hands. Drop the back knee and push down to reverse melt up into Anjaneyasana. And then release the hands forward, lift the back knee, set the back toes forward, push down into the feet, reverse melting up into Virabhadrasana 1. And then knees and elbows soften to just gently twist you to the left. Shift the weight, and then twist to the right, twisted tree. And then hovering tree. You can go right into tree pose, or you can play with Asta Padangusthasana on the second side, grabbing the big toe, staying right here and playing with this deep hip opener, or starting to extend the leg. Have a sense of the back of the hip supporting you, even opening through the inner thigh and outer thigh. Breathe, gently sway so nothing's locking up, and then make your way into tree whenever you're ready, but you don't have to rush it. Hands to heart center, and just take a few deep breaths here. And then you You can visualize yourself making that transition, or just do it if you got the hang of it. The right foot will step back, the front knee will bend, and the hands will plant at the same time that the foot. Nice. I lost my words because I was just watching your beautiful transitions. Jessie, you got it. And then lift the front foot, left knee to left wrist. Small swivel of the shin, and then just press the hips back. Release the back knee down. Flatten the top of the back foot. Walk the hands in and really lengthen through the spine. If you feel any compression in the low back, just lift the hips a little higher away from the mat. You can opt out of the twist, or you can reach left fingertips forward, up and back. Not cranking into a deep twist, just allowing this movement to massage the spine. And when you're ready, release that hand down. Shift the weight into the left hip and circle the right leg forward, pausing in Sukhasana, your seated pose, and just breathing and observing the body and the breath. And so we have a couple of options. Because we moved extra slow, I really wanted to show you guys how much strength you have generated in an easeful way. So we have the option to play in a headstand. And I know that's not for everyone, and I'm going to talk you through it. If you feel like, no thanks, I really have no interest in that, or you have neck issues, you can do all the same things, but keep the legs down so that you can still really feel the strength of the arms into the core. If you're ready for something more restful, you are more than welcome to take a restorative pose instead, and then just tune me out, turn the volume off while we play in headstand so that you can just totally relax. So if you need guidance for a restorative pose, a really nice option would be legs up the wall. So if you're going the restorative route, go for it. Enjoy the wholeness that you've achieved in your body. Raise your hand if you're interested in exploring a safe headstand. Okay, we've got some interest. Cool. So you might not have a chair around, and it's okay if you don't, but this is a way that I've really enjoyed having a little bit more control getting upside down. So if you conveniently have a chair, grab it. If you don't, you'll have another option. And bring it towards the wall because we don't want to flip over. And maybe I can try to zoom in so you can see me a little bit better. Okay. Okay. So let me demo this really quickly before you do it. We're going to play with having our, wait, can they see me? Having our hands like this. I know everyone does it like this, and you're like, no, but I'm used to that, and that's going to be crazy. I know, just try it, trust me. This is going to just give you more integrated strength through the front of the chest as well as the back of the shoulder. So note how my thumbs are overlapping. A lot of people do it like this. So it's like an equal sign because we want everyone to be equal. Okay. Cool. So this is how our hands are going to set up. I'm going to do it away from the wall so you guys can actually see me, but I'm actually going to mandate that you do it at a wall because I don't want to be responsible for anyone flipping over and bad stuff happening. So you'll bring your chair to your wall. I think I'm okay. And so you'll set up your hands as I demonstrated. You'll tuck your chin, bringing the crown of the head
towards the thumbs, and then you'll actually step your feet onto your chair. So you can totally be here and not ever leave the chair, and really push into the hands so that there's no weight in the neck. If you feel really safe and you're like, oh, this actually feels quite good on my spine, then you can play with lifting one leg. If that's going really well and there's a wall behind you, so it's not scary, you can play with lifting the other leg. And then the chair is right there if you need it, right? And there's a sense of the weight shifting from the elbows to the fingertips, and that's what really helps you stabilize, right? Is being able to use that whole spaciousness of the forearms all the way to the fingertips. Nice. So I see people going for it, and remember to move slowly. Remember to actually feel as you move, and try to observe the breath. Come out of it whenever you need to. Great control, everybody. Yeah, have fun with the chair if you're trying it. And I don't want anyone to feel rushed, but when you have had enough, you can just rest in child's pose. If it felt really good and you want another round, enjoy the strength that you have cultivated. And then when you're ready, we'll meet at the short edge of the mat, because going through that first little mini flow extra slow is going to help us release the neck, which is really important, even if you did that really skillfully. Maybe some of you often hold that for a long time, but from my vantage point, it seemed like you were really rock solid, so I hope you enjoyed your experience of that pose after this flow. And this is the end of class. You don't have to move anything around if it's annoying. You can just be wherever your mat is. And so we'll slowly take a few circles, just tuning into the spine and the neck. It is natural for there to be a little compression, but we still want to make sure we release any tension we've built in the neck. So stretch legs forward and arms back. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Then we'll spend a little extra time in our bridge pose to release the back of the neck. So drag the heels in. Reach hands towards heels. Slowly lift. You can stay right here, or you can interlace the hands. Allow the shoulders to gently draw towards one another, and then play with reaching the knuckles towards the heels, and just notice how that changes the sense of support in the arms and the shoulders. Take a few deep breaths and breathe towards the back of the neck, just letting that space at the base of the skull and the top of the shoulders open. Can play with gently pressing more into one foot and then the other. I find that this is helping me massage into my shoulders and neck just by generating a little bit of movement. And then slowly release the spine down. Invisible hug again, slow motion. Feel the support in the front of the neck lifting you to lengthen the back of the neck. And then reach everything out. Big X. Right leg crosses over, and we're going to change it up a little. We're going to slow motion roll onto our belly, and then we're going to reach the right leg up and over the left, and instead of sitting up, we're just going to slow motion roll back onto the back. And then we're going to go the other way. So left leg over right, reach the left foot, slowly rolling over the right side body and onto the belly. And then go back the way you came. So the left leg reaches up and over, and slowly let that peel the pelvis open, and then the heart, and then the shoulders. If that felt good, you're welcome to do it one more time on each side. If you're like, yeah, that was enough rolling, I think I'm set, you can take a gentle twist instead, or just windshield wiper the knee. And I love seeing all of you move and explore and trying different things. Christy's doing my favorite twist of all time, of the like slow barrel rolling from side to side. So take your time. If your body's giving you wisdom, or it's imparting its wisdom on you and guiding you into stuff, you can certainly follow that. You can also take some time for stillness and just observe the breath. Little roadmap. We'll finish up this little playtime and we'll have time for meditation and then Shavasana. So we really don't need to rush. And let's just take a few more breaths to wrap up. And then we will meet at seated, and you can take whatever pathway you want. You can use one of our fancy transitions from class if you feel so inspired. And if there's a comfortable way you like to sit, on a cushion or a blanket, feel free to grab anything you need. And we'll pause our music and take a little extra time to release our neck. And so you can interlace the hands, let the elbows reach wide, and place the hands at the cave of the neck, so the space that goes in. Gently press the hands into the back of the neck, and then gently press the back of the neck into the hands. As you do that, you should notice the chin just subtly tucking, just allowing the muscles that root into the base of the skull to lengthen. Doesn't have to be intense. Don't work too hard. Just let those muscles lengthen. Just gentle pressure in both directions. Breathe. And then slide the hands up to the base of the skull and push the base of the skull into the hands, just lifting the head up and over. If you know fish pose, this is almost like just mimicking a fish pose, letting the front of the neck open with a lot of support. And then allow the chin to gently drop and allow your wings to gently close. Press the base of the skull up into the hands to stretch through the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders. Take a few breaths. And if one of those movements felt really good, feel free to revisit it. So just that gentle pressure, opening the front of the throat, opening the back of the throat. And whenever you have explored enough, you can release the hands down. And I'm noticing my neck wants some side to side. If your neck wants something different, you can listen to that, or you can follow what I'm doing, just gently gliding the chin towards the right, not forcing anything. If you want a little bit more release through the top of the left shoulder, just bring the back of the left hand to the low back. Just let the arms soften and breathe into any sensations you're feeling in the shoulder, the neck. You can gently massage those muscles just by rolling the chin from side to side, really subtly, like just a centimeter in either direction, just to keep things moving. And then release the hand, lift the head, and just for a little counter for the arm, just lift the palm like you're holding a big tray of French fries or whatever would be fun for you to think about. And then we'll go the opposite way. So allow the chin to drop forward and then gently glide to the left. Stay there, or bring the back of the right hand towards the sacrum, and try to allow the arm to be nice and soft. Option to gently massage. And take note if one side feels a little tighter than the other. You don't have to change anything, but it just is helpful information to take in, acknowledge. And then just gently allow the head to lift to center and lift the right palm. This one has acai bowls, so if French fries weren't for you, don't worry, we've got something for everyone in this yoga class. And then let's just hold both our arms like that and allow the shoulders to soften, allow the hands to reach out, lengthening the arms and the spine. And then the hands can gently drop onto the thighs. And we'll lead into meditation the way we led into our yoga class, by observing the breath without changing it. And sometimes just by bringing your awareness to the breath, you might notice you naturally breathe deeper or take a deep breath, and that's just fine. You don't have to hold anything back. But give yourself this freedom. Give your body the freedom to just breathe, and your mind the freedom to just observe without controlling. As you observe the breath without forcing anything, notice a spaciousness between you, the observer, and the breath. Allow your awareness to expand it's as if when you soften your grip on the breath, everything can soften. And do a little scan of the body and just notice if you're holding tightness somewhere, maybe in the temples or the jaw, the neck. And see if you can just invite a little more softness in the physical body. And continue observing a gentle pulsation of the breath. See if you can notice the sound that the breath naturally makes. Hum with each inhale, saw with each exhale. Your mind has to be very quiet to be able to hear this soft syllable with each breath. If you don't hear it, that's okay. Just imagine the breath is ever so gently repeating the sound hum on the inhale, sa on the exhale. And then start to repeat that syllable yourself, linked and synced with the breath. Just very gentle, very natural. Hum, sa, as the breath rises and falls. As the body softens, notice any sense of being more spacious than your physical form. Bhagavan Nityananda, the root guru of this lineage, said the heart is the hub of all holy places. Go there and roam in it. And there really is this sense of vastness when we bring our awareness inside. We let our tension go in the physical body, in the mind. Sometimes we can feel a sense of spaciousness far beyond the confines of our physical form. So just imagine any baggage just dropping away. And the softness of your breath helping you find that inner softness that is so vast, and really unbounded. You're more than welcome to stay upright for as long as it feels useful and enjoyable. You're also invited to relax and release in Shavasana, just letting the body be held by the earth, while still opening to this inner vastness as you rest. Observe your next few breaths. Notice that space in between you as the observer and the breath. And see if you can keep that spaciousness as you invite gentle movements. And take your time awakening the body and allowing the joints to roll around. And eventually make your way to seated, trying to feel your way there. Bring hands to heart center and just let yourself be just as you are for a moment. And just enjoy being exactly as you are right now. Allow that contentment to just sink into the heart so you can take it with you through the rest of your day and beyond. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Namaste. I hope everybody had a great class. I'm happy to stick around if anyone has questions. And I'm curious, did anybody, how did headstand go? There were a couple new things that maybe you didn't play with the hands, and that's okay. But if anyone played with the hands in that new way, I'm curious if that helped or if you felt something new. Or maybe just the strength of your practice. Dana? Oh, and you guys can go to gallery mode if you're not there. It's fun to see all these radiant yogis and doggies.
I loved the hand position. I felt like it definitely. I don't like having my fingers intertwined like that all the time. I feel like sometimes that's like what makes me want to come out of the pose is like my fingers feel uncomfortable. So it felt really good to have them like spread and like flat.
Cool. Yeah, I saw you there for like minutes, and I was like, maybe she just was one of those people that does headstand for minutes. But I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Cool. Have fun with it. Yeah. And if anyone needs to go, that's okay. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Bye, Jeanette. Great to see you. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye, Tammy. I didn't know you were here, so it's always fun when you.
I didn't get a chance to switch over there.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really good.
So glad you could be here. Yeah. Aloha. Hey, Jessie. Thanks for writing that amazing thing. Gosh, that just like was so heart opening, and you're so articulate that I was like, wow, you said it better than we could. See you tomorrow. Bye, Amisha. Hi, Alice. I'm so glad you could be here. Is your dog okay?
Yeah, sorry, I was present the whole class, but no, I had to pull out, and I'm feeling great. So, I was present, but I felt terrible.
Oh.
I
Oh, nah.
And just sit.
You're
I don't know what to
y-
do.
you're perfect. Sometimes people have their camera off, and I'm sorry you're not feeling well, but I'm glad that you could be with us energetically. And it's always fine, camera on, camera off, whatever um, is most comfortable for the student is perfect with me.
Yeah, I think I'm still working on the Wednesday. On Saturday, so
Yeah.
I hope I get. I will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, you're doing double trainings, so I'm sure there's like a lot. You're fearless. Yeah.
That's very good.
Oh. You're kind of breaking up a little bit, but I got the gist and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I hope you feel better. Hey Dave and Monty.
Sorry, he's been hanging out and sleeping and licking and doing whatever he does, but it doesn't
I
bother me.
I
I do,
love
so
it. Dog yoga. He's doing his thing.
he always is doing his thing. So he's always right.
Do you play the guitar?
I just started. I just got a guitar like 3 weeks ago, so I'm brand new. I've wanted to play for my whole
Well,
life.
that is so cool.
Something that I've been trying to do with this whole COVID. It's just trying to do other stuff that maybe I didn't have time to do in my life before, and now I have